Bonjour. Je suis passé. Oui. You want to make a doorstep? Good morning. Today, extraordinary council. Very important one, which really has one main topic, and the main topic is how do we continue our support to Ukraine? How do you enable Ukraine to continue to buy the defense equipment that they need? How do we support Ukraine in paying, for example, the salaries of their teachers? So it really is crucial that we come to an agreement, and that we come to an agreement with 27 countries. Last council, there was an agreement between 26. That agreement still is there. The 26 are very clear on what was on the table then, that we can continue. And I'm confident on our capabilities to come to a compromise with 27 countries.
What will you accept, Mr. Orban? So he will accept this deal. What can you give him?
Well, what we can give him is European unity. What we can give him is continued support to Ukraine. What we can give him is the financing that the Ukrainian population deserves. We can come to an agreement where, of course, if there is need for transparency, if there is need to make sure that the money is well spent, yes, that is a legitimate question, and we can obviously answer to that. But the agreement that we need to make is within the MFF package. MFF package, which, of course, has a main component on Ukraine, but also financing on migration, financing on the cost of Next-Gen EU, and so on. So there is a lot of things on the table, and it's to the benefit of everyone to come to an agreement.
Have you received any signs from him in the last couple of hours or days that he's going to accept this deal?
Well, yeah, there's been contact, but in the end, what is important is what is being said around the table. I'm confident that this time again we will find a way to be able to come to an agreement. Everyone in the same room, or not everyone in the same room, that was how it happened last time. But I think it's crucial that after a few weeks where we were able to think about how to come to an agreement, is that we now conclude as 27. We've had difficult councils before, but in the end we always came to an agreement that showed that unity is there, and that I think is a crucial one.
You also talk about the peace facility, and do you think that we could find solutions, for example, this top of the $5 billion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, these things we'll discuss at the table. The good thing is that there is, I think today, less discussion outside than previous time. Not too many open letters and so on. You feel that there's an eagerness of the 27 to listen to each other around the table and to come to a compromise. Yeah. There is no what then. We need to come to a compromise with 27. No, I think it's a real discussion. It's a real discussion to answer to some concerns on transparency on the utilization of money. That is a legitimate concern, but that does not only apply to MFF, that I think is a general one that applies to everyone, is enough transparency on how European funds are being used. Maybe on a second topic, as you have seen, there is a major farmers' protest in Brussels. We need to be able to discuss in the Council on this topic, because the concerns that they have are partly legitimate. The climate transition is a key priority for our societies. We need to make sure that our farmers can be a partner in this. They have done incredible efforts over the past years. Over the past years, they have really adapted to the new standards that we have. We have a long way to go, and we need to make sure that they can be a partner in this and that they can be part of the discussion. In the end, in Europe, we have a highly productive farming activities. They are very innovative, and there's still a lot of innovation to come. They offer products of high quality. We also need to make sure that they can get the right price for the high quality products that they provide. We also need to make sure that the administrative burden that they have remains reasonable. And obviously very happy with the announcement that the European Commission made yesterday on the fact that the 4% follow land, that there is an exception being given on that for another year. My point is that it should be longer than 1 year, but at least this 1 year is giving some more oxygen to our farmers to be able to work.
If you find no solution on the MFF, would that mean that Mr. Orban leaves the summit and you'll stay a day longer with the 26 leaders and to find a plan B solution?
We have only one goal, and the one goal is to come to an agreement with 27. Thank you.
Again. morning. Happy to see you all here. It wasn't easy to get here, but it was a nice walk. We are here today because we want to get an agreement regarding this 50 billion financial aid to Ukraine. That is the main purpose. That is what we are going to discuss. Our aim is to have a solution for 27 countries, so we try to bring everybody on board. The other thing that I want to address is the 1 million rounds initiative. So we are in February now, and it seems that we don't really achieve this goal. But without this ambitious goal, we would be in a worse place. First, what is good out of it is that the production of ammunition has tripled in Europe. Of course, it's not enough. What it also showed is that the defense readiness of European countries is far behind of what it should be. So definitely it sends a clear message to everybody that we should all do more. And that's why I've also been advocating for the 2% of the GDP defense investment that every ally, at least in NATO, should do. And the third item that I want to address is the sanctions and the circumvention of sanctions. When we read from the unofficial statistics of Russian imports that the import of microchips to Russia has increased, and out of those 20 companies that deliver those microchips, 15 are Western companies, and out of those 15, 3 are European companies. So I think this is something that we have to really acknowledge and do something with it, because if the companies think that we will benefit from this and it doesn't matter, then actually it does matter. If everybody does their share, the breaking point for the war would be much closer when everybody is trying to circumvent and trying to get their own benefits out of it, then the path will be much longer. So thank you.
Viktor Orban wants to change to keep having vetoes every year.
Our preference is to have it, 4 years, a long-term plan in place. So that is the main goal. Viktor definitely wants to be the center of attention every time we are here, but it shouldn't be like this. We should agree and stick to it, and of course we can review decisions we have made, but Ukraine needs a long-term commitment.
Isn't that very embarrassing?
That is true. We have been discussing this with other leaders, and let's see how this meeting works out. Because if every time something is offered, then this pattern will continue. Because you get something out of this. I don't want to use the word blackmail, but I don't know another better word.
What kind of consequences should there be?
We will discuss this, how to get out of this. If you look at Hungary, the economy of Hungary, they don't use the euro currency, so if you look at their interest rates of their central bank, it's 9%. That shows how well their economy is doing. So actually, Hungary needs Europe. He should also look into what is it in it for Hungary in being in Europe. But that's all for the discussions that we're going to have today.
So we're discussing, you mean the 26 leaders are discussing this with now?
We have been discussing this in various groups with different leaders who are on the same side, how to really break this pattern. That is one of the discussion points, but it is clear that Article 7, if we go into this procedure, we have to know that we will deliver on that, which means that there are 26 against 1, which is not clear. And the other point is that we really have to focus what happens afterwards. I mean, if we use this nuclear option, then how we work after this.
You mentioned the ammunition rounds for Ukraine. Only half of it will be given to large. But some countries, especially Germany, are also fed up with the other countries. Also, that Estonia is mentioned because you allegedly been quite creative with the calculations for the peace facility. What do you say to this criticism?
Actually, yesterday I had a press briefing and I showed this Kiel Institute table where you have the European commitments, the commitments that countries do separately, and the whole of it. So if you look at that, European peace facility actually has brought on board helping Ukraine, the countries that don't do it just by themselves. So this is increasing the support for Ukraine. Now, if everybody is starting to calculate down what they give just around this peace facility, then we will actually lose those countries who are in the peace facility and don't do anything just between themselves. So we should look at the bigger picture and not everybody's own interest in this regard. The Kiel Institute has shown this table as well. I mean, of course, countries should do more. I have been advocating for 0.25% of GDP. If every country in the Ramstein coalition does that and gives a long-term commitment for that, then actually we could, outweigh Russia in this regard, and actually Ukraine could win. So we have done this commitment, and I call on other countries to do the same. We don't see everything. I mean, everything is not public. So of course, what the leaders tell is what we have to also believe and what they give. So I hope that everybody is putting their money where their mouth is. We have to work with every leader that our allies choose for them, but what I think this is a wake-up call for everybody in Europe to do more for European own defense, and that's why I think the Million Rounds initiative is also a wake-up call to do more, so that we could have and we would have the defense readiness here in a much better state than it is currently. If Europe is behind Ukraine, then we can also help them in this regard. But it is much better if the United States is also supporting Ukraine. That is true. We should do more for our own defense. It doesn't mean that we will push America away, and we still need the United States as the biggest ally in NATO. That is very clear. But it also is very clear that all the European countries should do more. I mean, if some countries in Europe think that, if something bad happens, that it's further away from their borders, then, Europe is a very small continent and it affects everybody. So everybody should also do more. Thank you.
Guten Morgen. Wir haben heute wichtige Beratungen. Wir wollen das vollenden, was wir im Dezember angefangen haben, nämlich einen gemeinsamen Beschluss über die Überarbeitung des mittelfristigen Haushaltsrahmens zustande bringen, was ganz konkret aber natürlich vor allem bedeutet, dass wir die Haushaltsunterstützung für die Ukraine in den nächsten Jahren möglich machen wollen. Es geht um jedes Jahr 12 Milliarden Euro, zusammengesetzt aus Krediten und direkten Zuwendungen, insgesamt 50 Milliarden bis zum Ablauf der Finanzperiode, und das ist auch dringend erforderlich. Wir haben intensiv diskutiert in den letzten Tagen und Wochen, und meine feste Überzeugung ist, dass das eigentlich möglich sein muss, wenn Europa sich als Gemeinschaft begreift, in der alle füreinander einstehen und auch einander helfen, Beschlüsse zu fassen. Wir haben gesehen, dass die Mitgliedstaaten wissen, wie ein solcher Beschluss aussehen soll, und deshalb, glaube ich, ist jetzt auch der Zeitpunkt, ihn zustande zu bringen. Und ich werde mir sehr viel Mühe geben, mit vielen anderen einen Beschluss zu 27 möglich zu machen. Wir werden uns im Übrigen sehr intensiv beschäftigen mit der Frage, wie wir die weitere Unterstützung der Ukraine auch mit Waffen organisieren. Das ist etwas, worüber heute nicht zu entscheiden ist, aber die Diskussion muss dringend begonnen werden, denn wir wissen, dass das, was bisher geplant ist, an ganz konkreter Waffenhilfe aus den einzelnen Mitgliedstaaten alles zusammen nicht genug ist. Deutschland leistet einen sehr, sehr großen Beitrag, allein mit im Haushalt für das laufende Jahr vorgesehenen Mitteln von über 7 Milliarden Euro und auch vielen Verpflichtungsermächtigungen, die noch dazukommen in den nächsten Jahren. Aber das betrachtet jetzt ist nicht genug für die gesamte Europäische Union. Und deshalb bin ich froh, dass wir die Gelegenheit haben, darüber jetzt zu sprechen, gerade weil das jetzt nicht dazu ansteht, eine Entscheidung zu treffen, aber dass alle sich einmal unterhaken und sagen, hier müssen wir jeweils für uns selber gucken, was wir noch an zusätzlichen Beitrag leisten können, dass eine Verständigung möglich ist. Zunächst mal ist es so, dass ich überzeugt bin, dass es heute darum geht, eine Entscheidung zu 27 zustande zu bringen. Und das muss auch das sein, was wir miteinander erreichen wollen. Meine Gespräche mit vielen haben ergeben, dass genau dieser Wille auch existiert. Und deshalb sollten wir auch nicht drumherum gehen und versuchen, irgendwelche Konstruktionen zu basteln, sondern das Ziel muss sein, das zu tun, wozu die Europäische Union aufgerufen ist, nämlich eine gemeinsame Entscheidung zu ermöglichen. Das bedeutet immer, dass alle ihren Beitrag leisten müssen, dass das auch tatsächlich funktioniert. Ich glaube, dass es jetzt notwendig ist, dass alle mehr tun und dass sie das auch zu Hause diskutieren, weil das ja doch eine ganz erhebliche Anstrengung ist, jetzt zusätzliche Mittel zu mobilisieren, damit die Ukraine ihr Land verteidigen kann. Aber es ist erforderlich. Wir wissen, dass die Zahlen, die wir jetzt gesehen haben, wenig aussagekräftig sind, weil wir keine Auskunft darüber haben, wer eine Auskunft gegeben hat, weil wir keine Auskunft darüber haben, ob das sich auf eine oder mehrere Jahre bezieht. Insofern geht es da gar nicht um eine Gesamtsumme jetzt zunächst mal, die man nicht weiter aufschlüsseln kann, sondern ja etwas, was nur aus innerer Verpflichtung auch funktionieren kann, aus innerer Überzeugung, dass es jetzt notwendig ist, einmal zu schauen, ob man mehr tun kann. Wir können uns nicht jeweils auf den anderen verlassen, dass der das schon macht, sondern das muss schon 27 Mal gesagt werden. Wir wollen alles dazu beitragen, dass die Ukraine in der Lage ist, das Land zu verteidigen. Schönen Dank.
How's it going, everyone? Morning.
I'd like to start off with a few comments to issue about today.
Yeah, just obviously prepared for the meeting today. I think it's really important that we should come away from here today with an agreement as 27, an agreement to provide financial support for Ukraine through for the next 4 years, to give them the certainty they need that they can continue to run the country for the next 4 years, and also sending a very clear message to Russia that the European Union stands by Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Bishop, was there any sentiment that you picked up when you met other leaders at the dinner last night? How would you assess the mood of other leaders?
Yeah, so we had a good dinner last night after the Delors commemoration. Everyone wasn't there, so it wasn't a formal negotiation as such. But I think there was a strong view across those present that having come here for this special summit, we can't go away without agreement. So one way or another, we have to leave here today with an agreement on funding for Ukraine. That war is now raging for 2 years. Ukraine will not be able to continue to defend itself without the support of the European Union, and we can't leave them short.
What do you say to Viktor Orban? We're here again at this point where there's a lot of people Ukraine. Now it's sort of an existential crisis amid the US election and so on. I mean, do you share that frustration? Are you voicing that frustration?
I'm certainly very frustrated by it, and I think all the other heads of government are too. We have a system of unanimity for making big decisions here in Brussels, but it's done on the basis that everyone acts in good faith and are willing to make compromises and are willing sometimes to accept things that we don't necessarily support for the greater good. And I'd certainly be saying to Prime Minister Orban that unanimity is there on the basis that people act in good faith.
You'll be raising the issue of Gaza and the International Court of Justice from last Friday, the fact that there is plausible evidence of an actual genocide taking place and we're doing nothing about it.
Well, we'll certainly be discussing the events in Gaza and the Middle East. A number of us have asked that be discussed, and it will be. My focus will be on the need for a humanitarian ceasefire, so the hostages can be released, so that the killing can stop, and so that aid can get into Gaza. I think that needs to be the priority. I respect the ICJ, the ICC. I think what's happening in those courts is very significant and will be very important in terms of accountability down the line. But I don't think there's a court order or a court judgment that's going to end this conflict. This conflict will be ended through politics and through diplomacy, and that has to be the focus here.
Do you think that Article 7 should not be considered, at least by member states and by leaders, because of Hungary's circumstances there?
Well, look, hopefully it won't come to that. That procedure is very complicated. It's a procedure that takes away the voting rights of a member. But if we embark down that road, it could be months to a year before that can be made effective. So that won't give us the outcome that we need here today. And we need an outcome here today that says to Ukraine that the European Union continues to stand behind you and that we're putting this financial package in place. Well, look, I think EU-UK relations are in a much better place than they have been for a very long time. I had a chance to speak to President von der Leyen last night about what was agreed about the Windsor framework. Certainly the European Commission has some questions. It's going to want to look at some of the detail of that's really for Vice President Šefčovič to talk about, and he had a good call with Lord Cameron yesterday. So there are definitely going to be some questions about what was agreed between the UK government and the DUP. But nobody is at this stage saying that there's any red flags or anything that gives us major concern. And certainly from our point of view in Ireland, our priority was always to make sure there was no hard border between North and South. I think that's been achieved and protected, and also to make sure that there would never be any doubt about our position in the single market of the European Union. They were always our priorities, our red lines, and they haven't been breached.
On the situation of Ukrainians in Ireland, temporary protection directive, Hungary saying that at a certain point will have to reduce underpayments and accommodation payments for
Yeah, so the government has agreed that the changes apply to new arrivals from Ukraine, but not to people who've been in the country up until now. And I don't envisage that changing in the near future. Can't rule out that changing at some point in the future, particularly if we're in a position whereby the war has ended in Ukraine and people are able to return home. But certainly for those who are here already, there's no plans for any change in their entitlements in the near future. Oh, look, I think Hungary should absolutely stay in the EU. Hungary's a European country, and I think their place is in the European Union. There will be governments from time to time in different member states that don't always act in accordance with European values, but I think we need to think about the Hungarian people and what's best for them.
What happens if you can't convince Viktor Orban today? What will be the next step?
Well, look, there are a number of options. There's the possibility of an arrangement as 26 member states, but there are significant drawbacks there. Whatever happens, it's not going to be a cliff edge for Ukraine because we can continue to provide them with loans for the next couple of months. But I don't think that would be a very good outcome. President Michel has asked us to come here. It's a special summit. The only significant item on the agenda is Ukraine and the MFF.
So you expect the final result?
I think we have to leave here with the result. I don't think we can come back here in a few weeks' time or a few months' time. I think we have to leave with a decision of 27 that revises the MFF and gives Ukraine the certainty that it needs. It needs this funding package. It needs to be a 4-year package in particular, so that they can continue to run their country and continue to defend their independence. Well, I think he would be, which is another good reason to make sure that we have agreement here.
There's some kinds of news overnight. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the details of the
Yes, I only heard about that this morning, so really sorry to hear about the news, and our thoughts and condolences go to the families affected and the community as well. I don't know the details of it yet, but obviously there'll be an investigation, and I think one person is in hospital, so hopefully they'll make a speedy recovery. I might just mention the farm protests, if that's okay. So, as you'll know, the issue of farming and agriculture isn't on the agenda for this meeting, but was discussed by leaders last night, given the protests that are occurring. And I'd be among one of quite a number of heads of government here who understand the pressures that our farmers are under, whether it's increased energy costs or fertiliser costs, new environmental regulations. It's kind of been layer on layer for farmers. So certainly I think the priority for us should be implementing existing rules and regulations and not imposing new additional ones on farmers over the next couple of years, and also would echo President Macron's comments in relation to Mercosur, that this trade agreement can't be ratified in its current form. We can't have a situation whereby we impose environmental regulations on farmers and then allow imports from countries that don't have those same regulations. That wouldn't be fair.
So in Mercosur, would you want to reopen renegotiation in terms of raising regulation standards?
I think it can't be ratified in its current form, so what we would need is legally binding and legally enforceable changes around the environment, and that would be crucial for us.
Ukraine, that's what Belgium or coalition for farmers. Do you think the Commission made the right decision to sort of limit the access for Ukraine into the single market for agricultural products, given that Ukraine is likely to be a member?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but not aware enough of the technicalities, so fair not to answer that. That's okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yes, I think, yeah.
I see. Good morning.
It is a problem for all of us. I mean, there's no problem with so-called, Ukraine fatigue, for sure. We have Orban fatigue now here in Brussels. We have so many things to solve. Look at the street, not only in Brussels. And of course, what we need today is to strengthen our unity around Ukraine and versus Russia and its aggressive policy. I can't understand, I can't accept this very strange and very egoistic game of Viktor Orban. And there's no room for compromise on our principles like rule of law, and for sure there's no room for compromise on Ukraine question. And this is why what we can offer to Viktor Orban, as always, it's to treat him fair, according to our rules and procedures, and nothing else.
But he doesn't treat you fair. Should there be consequences, especially if there's no agreement, and if you stay longer and find an agreement with 26 countries? Should we also be thinking of consequences for Hungary?
First of all, I think we have to be more optimistic when it comes to our power of our arguments, and I think that there's no plan B, in fact. And this is for Viktor Orban to decide if Hungary is a part of our community or not. And it's clear, it's black and white context, There's my intuition, my instinct is that we will find some strong arguments to convince, at the end of the day, also Viktor.
So the arguments didn't work last council. Why would you work now? What would you tell Orban?
I think it's my assessment is a little bit different when it comes to December European Council. And because for me the most important thing is the very pragmatic result when it comes to our assessment, the financial support for Ukraine, and this is the goal number one. I think. I hope not only for me, but yes, I think that not today. I hope not today, but in a mid-term perspective, we have to think about more. How can I use it? Maybe not tough measures, but more clear consequences. I don't. Yeah, the situation is clearly different because it's the Ukrainian question is an existential one, not only for Poland, for all of us. And this today this position of Viktor Orban, this is a threat for our security. It's something so obvious and at the same time unacceptable. And this is why we have to think about all possible measures and all possible consequences in the future, but maybe not today.
How can a compromise
you promised me that it will be a quick one question.
Do you believe that a good decision that EU will participate in the Red Sea operation to support US and UK? And you are a very respected European politician. Do you believe that the current politics of the EU regarding the Middle East is correct and or should do more?
I'm not sure that we can talk today about a real common EU policy when it comes to Middle East and all the conflicts in the region, but I'm not ready to be precise today with the comments about Middle East. Sorry, I'm really engaged now in how to solve the problem of our colleagues from Budapest. It's not about. I think that we shouldn't discuss about our dignity because it's the problem is that Viktor Orban, in some sense, he's right. If his point of view if his position will dominate here in Europe, then Ukraine will lose for sure. But it's not a fatalism, we can decide on this, and this is the problem. I want to convince our partners and also Viktor Orban that it is still possible to protect Ukraine against this aggression effectively, and I am absolutely sure that we have a chance to do it, as I said, effectively. But for this we need this unity, and Viktor Orban must be aware that he will be responsible for a black scenario because of his game.
Thank you. Mr. Minister, what is the problem with revising the funds for Ukraine annually? What is the Hungarian proposal? What's your problem with it? With this annually revision of the aid for Ukraine?
The problem is that what we need is today, what I said just 1 minute ago, it's a unity of 27 to build not only long-term perspective assistance to Ukraine. And the problem is because, if Viktor Orban wants to have this power of veto every single year, it would be very problematic for Ukraine and for us to have a consistent program for Ukraine. And I hope so, yeah. Tutaj wszyscy mają nadzieję, że Viktor Orban pójdzie po rozum do głowy. To znaczy chyba nie będzie chciał jednak już tak na stałe postawić Węgry de facto poza Europą w tych najważniejszych kwestiach. Z całą pewnością bezpieczeństwo Unii Europejskiej, bo to jest nie tylko bezpieczeństwo Ukrainy, ale całej Europy, na pewno Polski. Ale przecież też Węgier. To nie jest... My w tej sprawie nie możemy w żaden sposób ustąpić jako wspólnota. I wydaje mi się, że dzisiaj jest ten moment, kiedy Viktor Orban musi zobaczyć, że skończyły się jakakolwiek przestrzeń na jakieś gry i takie cyniczne pomysły. Albo jest in, albo jest out politycznie. I dlatego ja mam nadzieję, że będziemy w stanie go przekonać. Ale też wszyscy już mamy dość marnowania czasu. Ja jako polski premier mogę powiedzieć, że Polska to jest duży kraj i że mamy tam sporo problemów do rozwiązania. Ja nie chcę tutaj spędzać, mimo że jestem przyzwyczajony do tego miejsca, ale nie chcę tu spędzać dni, godziny, tygodnie, żeby uczestniczyć w tej grze Budapesztu i Viktora Orbana. I dlatego to premier Orban musi wyciągnąć wnioski z tego faktu, że jest naprawdę sam już na scenie z tym swoim proputinowskim, prorosyjskim nastawieniem. No wiecie, no nie ma pewnie idealnych scenariuszy, tylko to, co dzisiaj jest potrzebne, to jest taka twarda pozycja pozostałych państw. Ja będę namawiał do tego, żeby nie składać żadnych kompromisowych ofert dla Viktora Orbana. Trzeba traktować tak jak każdego innego członka Unii Europejskiej fair Węgrów, trzeba stosować uczciwe procedury, uczciwe reguły gry wobec każdego. Ale nie ma tutaj przestrzeni na jakiś kompromis w sprawie rządów prawa, korupcji, a przede wszystkim w sprawie wojny ukraińsko-rosyjskiej. Tu nie ma jakiejś drogi pośrodku. Albo jest się po stronie Ukrainy przeciwko Rosji w tym konflikcie, albo po stronie Rosji. I Viktor Orban musi dokonać tego wyboru. Na marginesie jestem bardzo poruszony i trochę zawstydzony faktem, że mój poprzednik, pan premier Morawiecki, przyjechał do Brukseli po to, żeby z Viktorem Orbanem uczestniczyć właśnie w tej dwuznacznej grze. To jest ostatnia rzecz, jakiej potrzeba, żeby jakikolwiek polski polityk wspierał Viktora Orbana w tej rozgrywce, która w przypadku Budapesztu jest ewidentnie przeciwko Ukrainie.
Czas na artykuł 7 wobec Węgrów? Prawo głosu? Czas na artykuł 7?
To jest zawsze, wiecie, za dużo argumentów takich twardych nie ma w arsenale, więc ja bym szukał jednak bardziej presji argumentów politycznych i no, tak na zdrowy rozum. Stawką dla Budapesztu, dla Viktora Orbana jest tak naprawdę bycie w środku tej wspólnoty albo na zewnątrz. Stawką dla Viktora Orbana są gigantyczne środki, które są dostępne dla każdego państwa, które respektuje nasze wspólne europejskie interesy. Więc to on musi wyciągnąć wnioski. W ogóle musimy zakończyć ten spektakl, w którym jeden polityk wodzi za nos pozostałych 26 w sprawach tak oczywistych, jak na przykład kwestia ukraińska. Także nie namówicie mnie na spekulacje w sprawie artykułu 7, ale na pewno to, co mogę dzisiaj zadeklarować, to, że będę mobilizował. Wczoraj w nocy też to robiliśmy. Mieliśmy trochę dyskusji w różnych formatach, żeby być uczciwym wobec Orbana. Żadnego gorszego traktowania, to nie wchodzi w rachubę. Trzeba wszystkich traktować na równych prawach, ale trzeba też bezwzględnie egzekwować interesy całej wspólnoty.
Jak ma funkcjonować rząd, jeśli prezydent zapowiedział, że będzie wetował teraz, odsyłał do Trybunału Konstytucyjnego każdą z ustaw przyjętą przez taki skład Sejmu? Jak ma funkcjonować rząd taki?
Ja nie rozumiem postępowania pana prezydenta, powiem szczerze, bo ono przynosi same ryzyka i dla pana prezydenta, ale przede wszystkim dla naszej ojczyzny. Tak naprawdę stawianie ponad interes państwa, ponad interes ludzi, kwestię panów Kamińskiego i Wąsika, kwestię rozstrzygniętą, jest rzeczą absolutnie nie do zaakceptowania. I no trochę mi jest smutno, bo ja naprawdę liczę na to, no słuchajcie, to jest jeszcze ponad rok tej koabitacji, współpracy rządu z tym prezydentem i to jest za dużo czasu, żeby sobie pozwalać na takie gry i zabawy. No nie, w ogóle źle się z tym czuję, że prezydent Rzeczpospolitej w interesie dwóch skazanych swoich byłych czy aktualnych kolegów no, jest gotów narazić interes państwa, interes ludzi. No, tak było w czasie tego zamieszania wokół budżetu, bo przecież budżet jest dla ludzi, nie dla prezydenta czy dla mnie. Nie chcę używać za mocnych słów, ale wiecie, no, Polska, duży kraj, kontekst bardzo trudny i prezydent Rzeczpospolitej, który wysyła do Trybunału, którego właściwie nie ma, sprawę posłów, którzy nie są posłami, po to, żeby wprowadzać zamieszanie i takie nieustanne, wiecie, poczucie niestabilności. To jest coś nie do zaakceptowania.
Jeżeli jednak podejmujecie Państwo decyzję w sprawie Ukrainy bez Węgier, jak bardzo opóźni to dostarczanie pomocy na Ukrainę?
Słuchajcie, na ten rok, na rok 2024 Ukraina jest bezpieczna, jeśli chodzi o naszą pomoc finansową. Jest 18 miliardów euro do wypłacenia w tym roku i tutaj żadne decyzje czy brak decyzji tego nie zmienią. Te 18 miliardów jest do dyspozycji Ukrainy. I wiecie, rok to jest kawał czasu. Na szczęście przez tych kilkanaście najbliższych miesięcy ta pomoc będzie do Ukrainy docierała. Jak Państwo wiecie, jeśli będziemy mówili o 26 państwach i ich pomocy finansowej, tam z kolei będzie w niektórych państwach potrzeba ratyfikacji, akceptacji parlamentów krajowych, żeby takiej pomocy udzielić. W Polsce nie ma takiego wymogu, więc Polska jest tutaj bardzo stabilnym partnerem w tych kwestiach, ale wolałbym uniknąć takiej sytuacji. Jeśli chcecie znać moją opinię, jeśli Viktor Orban po raz pierwszy usłyszy bardzo twardy komunikat, albo jesteś z nami, albo jesteś zupełnie osobno we wszystkich sprawach, to być może zrozumie, że ta gra się kończy.
Ale co to będzie praktycznie osobno? Co to będzie znaczyło, że jesteś praktycznie osobno?
No to łatwo sobie ten scenariusz wyobrazić. Ale ja nie jestem tutaj, żeby straszyć naszych tradycyjnych przyjaciół.
Wracając do decyzji prezydenta, jeśli jeszcze można, bo mówił pan dzień wcześniej podczas konferencji prasowej, że w zależności od decyzji prezydenta będzie rozmawiał ewentualnie z koalicjantami o skróceniu kadencji Sejmu. Czy ta decyzja do tego doprowadza, czy to jest decyzja, która gwarantuje, że jednak...
Nie, to przecież nie jest żadna decyzja. To, co zrobił pan prezydent, znaczy decyzję podjął, podpisał budżet, więc z mojego punktu widzenia jako premiera nie ma większych problemów. Mamy budżet, państwo będzie normalnie funkcjonowało. Więc prezydent nie zdecydował się na ten wariant wyborczy. Przecież dobrze wiecie, że nie jest... Ja nie chcę kilka miesięcy po wygranych wyborach ponownie rozpoczynać wielkiej kampanii, bo mamy za dużo roboty. Ja tylko bardzo wyraźnie chciałem podkreślić, bo tak jest naprawdę. Jeśli nie da się rządzić, bo prezydent będzie przeszkadzał i jeśli będą chcieli wcześniejszych wyborów, to je dostaną. Ale nie sądzę, żeby tam był jakiś entuzjazm po stronie PiS-u do tej idei rozwiązania parlamentu i wcześniejszych wyborów. Także na koniec dnia, tak mi się wydaje, dadzą Polsce spokój z tymi dziwnymi pomysłami. Natomiast martwi mnie to, że prezydent zapowiada de facto, że ma zamiar do końca swojej kadencji przeszkadzać. Uważam, że źle zaczął prezydenturę od zdewastowania systemu prawa w Polsce i niestety źle kończy prezydenturę.
Czyli tej grudniowej powtórki z grudnia nie będzie, rozumiem, że odmrażać powinno się kolejne środki dla Węgier, tak jak było w grudniu 10 miliardów. Teraz to nie jest na stole w żaden sposób, żeby się ugiąć temu szantażowi.
Znaczy w ogóle nie wchodzi w rachubę, żeby ktoś dostawał nagrody w Unii Europejskiej za to, że jest politycznym szantażystą. Znaczy to w ogóle nie wchodzi w rachubę. Czyli jeśli niektórzy uważają, że Viktor Orban przyjeżdża tutaj ciągle negocjować jakieś ustępstwa dla Węgier, że tak naprawdę cała jego polityka nie ma nic wspólnego z Ukrainą, tylko chce omijać reguły europejskie, a mimo wszystko otrzymywać środki na przykład europejskie. Po wczorajszych dyskusjach, po wczorajszych spotkaniach mogę powiedzieć, że żaden z polityków, żadna z polityczek europejskich nie jest skłonna dzisiaj pójść na taki jakiś dziwaczny kompromis. Także nikt nie będzie płacił Viktorowi Orbanowi za to, że łaskawie zgodzi się na przestrzeganie naszych reguł. To w ogóle nie wchodzi w rachubę.
Jeśli chodzi o środki dla Polski, Komisja ma 2 tygodnie na decyzję w sprawie pierwszej transzy. Jest pan pewny, że w ciągu tych 2 tygodni będzie akceptacja, czy te ruchy wykonane przez rząd?
Trochę się boję komentować, no bo mówiłem kilka razy już, że wszystko jest na dobrej drodze, bo jest, a później czytam czasami, czy widzę komentarze, że na pewno będzie zablokowane, że są niezadowoleni. Nie chcę wyprzedać faktów, ale tak, my tak współpracujemy, jesteśmy bardzo rzetelni w tym, więc ja nie widzę żadnego powodu, dla którego miałyby się pojawić jakieś kłopoty. Jestem jak najlepszej myśli, ale wolę dmuchać na zimne, bo Znajdzie się zawsze jakiś informator, który powie, że jest inaczej i wtedy będziecie patrzyli na mnie tak, czy on mówi prawdę, czy nie, więc...
One question in English, please. What will you be saying to Viktor Orban today?
Nothing nice, you know.
Nothing nice.
Thank you. Have a good day. Oh,
Evo me, dobro jutro, kako ste?
Europos komisija
Kako ste se probili?
Suteikia supratingai, lankščiai ir aš tikiuosi, kad...
Prije 8 se došlo.
Good morning. Well, it seems that today we are going to focus, the leaders will focus on the Ukrainian issue. And I want to stress that the war of Russia against Ukraine is the biggest threat to European security. It's almost 2 years that Russia launched this unjustified war against Ukraine, willing to destroy the country and to split the country into pieces. And they continue doing so. And we can and we should do more to support Ukraine. Because, I repeat, it is the biggest threat to the European security, and if we don't do it, we will pay a higher price. That's why I will debrief the leaders about the situation in the ground and my proposals to increase the military support to Ukraine with this Ukrainian Assistance Fund inside the European Peace Facility. I will urge them to reach an agreement as soon as possible because there is no more time. We have to, in the next month, to increase our military support to Ukraine as we have been doing, increasing the number of ammunition, but still not enough. More has to be done. I don't think we have the sense of urgency when we deal with that. So this is going to be an intense discussion, and I hope that they will have a mandate to continue presenting the leaders with the required decisions to face this war, supporting Ukraine as much as it takes, as long as it takes, but supporting them in the urgency. And we certainly will talk about also the situation in the Middle East and the dire situation in Gaza. And I will stress how much important it is to continue supporting UNRWA. The investigation has to be done, but we cannot make a collective punishment to the Palestinian people. UNRWA is something that cannot stop working, otherwise hundreds of thousands of people will be perishing.
Is not what countries that are cutting funding to UNRWA are doing selectively punishing people in Gaza?
If you cut the funding to UNRWA, you are punishing the whole Palestinian people. There is no alternative to UNRWA, as the United Nations has clearly said, if you want to keep these people alive. So no collective punishment of the Palestinian people, no cutting to UNRWA.
10% of the people working for UNRWA allegedly work with Hamas that cannot be ignored.
Look, an investigation is in course, but there are hundreds of thousands of people being supported by UNRWA. You cannot stop the funding to keep these people alive. Investigation has to be done, but one thing is one thing and another thing is another thing.
Has Israel given you any evidence to support
Sorry.
these allegations?
So you're calling for continuous funding?
The European Union, the Commission, has not decided to stop the funding to UNRWA.
Would you also urge the member states?
I think at that moment, the support to UNRWA has to continue. I am fully supporting the position of the Secretary General of the United Nations.
One question
I don't understand you.
You were also asked on the to prepare like a list of what countries could do more in terms of deliveries to Ukraine. Is there a lot of unused potential?
We have to continue working together to support Ukraine. We have the European Peace Facility. There is a proposal on the table in order to create this assistance fund to Ukraine. All member states have been participating until now. Now there are some member states, Hungary for example, who says that they don't want to participate anymore, but they will not obstruct. One thing is not to participate, another thing is to oppose. By the time being, no one is opposing.
There have been a lot of commitments, but not so many deliveries.
I explained all the deliveries yesterday. Take my figures from my press conference yesterday.
Question on Hungary, please.
I already said the position of Hungary.
You support the decision of the 27th, but if you won't reach this agreement, should there be consequences?
Look, I already explained. One thing is not to participate, another thing is to obstruct. Hungary is not obstructing. Thank you. Thank you.
būtu panākt vienošanās, jo Orbāns ir tātad šobrīd kļūst par problēmu, un 26 valsts jau decembrī ir vienojušās. Tas, ko mēs šobrīd esam daudz maz arī vakariņās izrunājuši, ka mums ir svarīgi panākt gan daudzgadu budžeta pārskatīšanas pakotni kopā ar atbalstu Ukrainai. Jo atbalsts Ukrainai ir ārkārtīgi svarīgs, bet skaidrs, ka arī migrācijas jautājums.
Tak to bylo úplně hladké.
No, tohle nějak bylo úplně hladký, ale...
Der var flere folk, da vi kom. Statsminister Mette Frederiksen, Ukraine er ved at løbe tør for penge, de er ved at løbe tør for ammunition. Kan I forlade mødet i dag, uden at der er en aftale om flere penge til Ukraine?
Altså, vi kan i mine øjne ikke gå herfra i dag, uden at være sikker på, at der er penge til Ukraine. Hvordan vi så præcis gør det, det er lidt for tidligt at sige. Men det er helt klart, at Ukraine har behov for finansiering, og som du faktisk selv siger, så har de også behov for ammunition. Og derfor er vi også en håndfuld kolleger, der er gået sammen her forud for mødet, for at sige, at vi bliver simpelthen nødt til at steppe op. Vi har lovet ammunition, ikke mindst på artilleri. Europa leverer ikke. Det er ganske enkelt ikke godt nok. Altså det er lige nu, Ukraine er i en meget, meget, meget svær situation, så Europa skal altså levere.
Og hvad er det? Hvordan skal vi levere det, der mangler?
Ja, altså hvis vi kigger sådan helt konkret på ammunition, så er opgaven i virkeligheden ikke så svær, hvis jeg må være lidt direkte, fordi der er stadigvæk ammunition på nogle lager rundt omkring. Det bør frigives, og så skal vi have produktionskapaciteten op. Og det skal vi både af hensyn til Ukraine, men vi skal det faktisk også af hensyn til os selv, altså fordi vi skal kunne forsvare os selv på en helt anden måde, end det vi har været vant til nu efterhånden i en del årtier. Danmark leverer vores andel, vi leverer også meget mere end vores andel, og det skal de andre lande også.
Mette Frederiksen, det er jo ikke første gang, at Orban på den her måde nedlægger veto i EU. Altså, hvad kan man gøre for ligesom at få det brudt, for at lave en aftale? Og hvad er det reelt, man kan tilbyde ham? Det er jo rigtig vigtigt også for Ukraines fremtid, at de får lavet den her også langsigtede økonomiske pakke. Hvad kan man reelt tilbyde Orban for ligesom at få ham ned for det her veto-brud?
Jeg tror, man skal starte det rigtige sted, og EU-samarbejde handler jo ikke først og fremmest om Orban. Det handler om Europa og vores befolkningers velfærd, hverdag, men jo altså også vores sikkerhed på grund af det, der sker i Ukraine. Så min rækkefølge er i hvert fald den, at mødet her handler først og fremmest om at sikre økonomi og yderligere donationer til Ukraine. En løsning, der inkluderer alle 27 lande. Der er ikke nogen, der i mine øjne har ret til hele tiden at stille sig udenfor. Og det er det, vi kommer til at arbejde på resten af dagen. Så lykkedes vi med lidt fleksibilitet tilbage i december at få truffet en beslutning. Og det håber jeg selvfølgelig også, at vi gør i dag, men jeg vil omvendt ikke lægge ud på, at det ser ret svært ud.
Men man hører jo rigtig tit, at det her med, at i Vesten, når vi støtter Ukraine, så længe det er nødvendigt, men det ændrer jo bare ikke ved, at der er en situation nu, hvor I er rigtig, rigtig svært ved at få truffet en fælles beslutning og jo levere konkret hjælp. Altså, hvad er alternativet, hvis det er, at I ikke kommer i mål med den her pakke i dag, som de 26 andre lande jo gerne vil?
Det er rigtigt, at Ungarn udfordrer, men det er så også vigtigt at sige, at det er Ungarn, der udfordrer. Jeg vil jo være som dansker og som europæer og som frihedselsker, vil jeg være meget mere bekymret, hvis den hed 15-12 eller den hed 10-17. Men det er et land, som giver os udfordringer. Jeg oplever, at de 26 lande rykker stadig tættere på hinanden. Der er ikke nogen, der rokker båden derudover. Og når jeg for eksempel i går aftes sidder sammen med mine kolleger, vi taler om Ukraine, så har alle jo den samme analyse, at det her handler selvfølgelig om Ukraine, som er blevet angrebet af Rusland, men det handler om os alle sammen. For der er ikke noget, der tyder på, at Rusland kommer til at stoppe med Ukraine. Altså, og Rusland har en aggressiv fremfærd på mange andre områder, end kun det, der vedrører Ukraine. Og derfor, ligegyldigt hvordan man vender drejer det, så er der jo ikke noget, der er vigtigere end vores frihed og vores sikkerhed. Men det er ikke et splittet Europa, det er ikke et splittet EU, det er 26 lande og så et.
Men er tålmodigheden ikke ved at være nedslidt nu? Altså er der tålmodighed tilbage over for hele det her spørgsmål, og er der slet ikke snak om at forsøge at lægge noget pres den anden vej? Jeg ved, der har været snak om artikel 7-proceduren for eksempel. Er der slet ikke noget, der rører sig på det spørgsmål?
Tålmodighed skal man have masser af i politik, og jeg har det sådan, at det vigtigste for Europa, det er hjælpen til Ukraine, fordi den kamp, der er på slagmarken, handler ikke kun om Ukraine, der handler altså om os alle sammen, og om Rusland skal have lov til at gå ind i et europæisk land. Så vi må levere, hvad det kræves, også af politisk tålmodighed i forhold til Ungarn, og han kan ikke køre os træt. Han kan ikke køre mig træt. Det kommer ikke til at ske. Men det afgørende er jo at få fundet en løsning, så Ukraine har økonomi.
Vi ser gang på gang, at det er Ungarn, der forhaler de her beslutninger. Sidst der troede man også med et veto mod optagelsesforhandlinger til Ukraine. Altså hører de stadigvæk med i EU, hvis de bliver ved med at forhindre de her beslutninger?
Ja, altså med alt, hvad vi ser ind i, ikke mindst sikkerhedspolitisk, der har vi behov for et stærkere Europa og et større Europa, altså når vi kigger på den europæiske union. Så mit ærne er ikke at smide nogen ud, men det er klart, at alle lande bliver nødt til at arbejde for det, der er det fælles bedste. Det er jo det, alle vi andre gør. Og her vil der være masser af kompromiser. Men det er jo også derfor, at de 26 lande står ret samlet i den her sag. Vi ønsker ikke at gå på kompromis med ukrainernes fremtid. Ligegyldigt om vi taler om det politiske spor, altså i forhold til udvidelse af EU, eller i forhold til det militære spor. Og det er jo også det lys, man skal se, at Danmark igen er med til at skubbe på, for at landene leverer mere, ikke mindst på den militære hjælp.
Og så er det ikke et spørgsmål til de...
For mig er det allervigtigste at bruge energien på at få fundet en løsning. Det var det, vi gjorde i december, det er også det, vi gør i dag.
Og jeg spørger dig til de protester, der er i Bruxelles i dag. Der er utrolig mange traktorer og sure landmænd herinde. De er meget frustrerede over de miljøregler, de oplever, der kommer fra EU, og det er svært for dem. Mener de at klare sig på deres gårde? Skal der gøres noget? Er det noget, vi skal tale om i dag?
Det er nogle meget voldsomme protester. Det er mit indtryk, at noget af det handler om EU, og noget af det handler om nogle nationale forhold, både på økonomi og på lovgivning og på regulering. Jeg tror ikke, man skal tage fejl af, at der er mange i landbrugene rundt omkring i Europa, der føler sig presset på grund af klima. Og forskydninger i verdenshandel og inflation og energipriser og andre ting. Og som med alle andre erhverv, der er det jo vores opgave at sørge for, at alle kommer igennem de svære tidspunkter, der er. Det er jo den tilgang, vi har i Danmark. Vores landbrug skal omstille sig, men vi skal gøre det på en måde, så vi stadigvæk kan producere vores egen fødevarer og være konkurrencedygtige. Og så ved jeg, at kommissionen sidder og kigger ind i nu, om der er noget, man kan gøre yderligere for at hjælpe det europæiske landbrug. Det er jo selvfølgelig en god overvejelse.
I forhold til europæisk militærkapabilitet, så er I ude og opfordre til, at det skal gå hurtigere. Det går for langsomt. Man kan ikke levere den ammunition, som man har lovet. Også fra dansk side hører vi nu, at man skal åbne forsvarsforliget, som man ellers indgik i sommer. Har man fra dansk side og fra europæisk side simpelthen undervurderet russerne?
Ja, det må man sige. Jeg synes ikke, der er andet svar på det overhovedet. Og det kommer jo i flere tempi. Vi skulle aldrig nogensinde tilbage i 2014 have accepteret, at Rusland gik ind på Krimhalvøen. Og der har jo været en, må vi sige nu, for naiv tilgang, at hvis bare vi handlede sammen med Rusland og købte ikke mindst deres gas og deres olie, så ville vi kunne have et godt naboskab. Og det kan man ikke med Rusland. Det handler ikke kun om Putin. Jeg er bange for, at det stikker dybere. Så det korte svar er ja, og det kommer i flere tempi. Og derfor bliver vi jo også nødt til at træffe de nødvendige beslutninger, for ikke hverken at blive i den situation, men jo også at være sikre på, at vi altså rent faktisk kan forsvare os selv. Og det kommer jo på rigtig, rigtig mange områder i dag.
Men er der overhovedet tid til det? Altså russerne har omstillet for længst. Europa kommer halvdelen efter. Kan vi overhovedet nå at hjælpe ukrainerne i et omfang, de har brug for? Du kan bare selv se i dag, hvor lang tid det tager at tage beslutninger om de penge.
Jeg synes, det går for langsomt. Jeg har ikke helt tålmodighed til det tempo. Altså, det er jo vigtigt at sige, at Europa har givet rigtig, rigtig meget, og det har ikke mindst amerikanerne, men vi har ikke givet nok. Og når vi som et europæisk samarbejde går ud og siger, nu er vores mål, at vi skal levere 1 million stykker ammunition, og vi ikke gør det, så er det jo ganske enkelt ikke godt nok. Danmark gør vores del, og vi gør også meget mere end det. Men alle skal jo gøre det, der er det nødvendige. Og det handler i forhold til Ukraine, men det handler også i forhold til vores egen sikkerhed. Og i lighed med forsvarsministeren er jeg også den overbevisning, vi kommer til at bruge flere penge på vores forsvar.
Hvorfor så ikke bare gå foran og lave den løsning på 26, og så skide Orban et langt stykke for at sige det lige ud, og så sikre de penge til Ukraine hurtigt muligt?
Ja, det er jo to forskellige diskussioner. Der er en økonomidiskussion i forhold til Ukraine, som vi arbejder intens på at få fundet en løsning på, og så er der ved siden af det konkrete militære samarbejde, hvad angår donationer, og at få løftet den europæiske kapacitet, så vi simpelthen bliver stærkere og mere robuste. Og må ikke vi lykkes med at nå det hele, hvis ellers den politiske vilje er der i hvert fald fra den side.
Hvor mange penge skal lægges oven i forsvarsforliget?
Det kommer vi til at forholde os til. Jeg tror, det der er det vigtige at få sagt for os som regering, det er, at behovet for at kunne forsvare os selv er stigende. Vi har jo givet et kæmpe løft til dansk forsvar, først med det nationale kompromis og efterfølgende med den nye regering. Det er rigtig godt, men det er ikke sikkert, det er nok med de kæmpe store udfordringer, vi står for.
Sorry, one question in English. And can we ask you?
Not sure. Well, it is first of all important because of the situation on the battlefield. The Ukrainians are suffering, and it's a very difficult situation, and they are in lack of different types of military equipment, but especially on ammunition. We have promised from the European Union to deliver, and we haven't really delivered what we have promised, and that's not good enough. So all countries, I think, have to look how to deliver more, and at the same time, how can we lift our production so we are able to keep our promises to Ukraine, and at the same time, we need to rebuild the European security and our capacities.
How to deliver more? You mean using stocks?
Of course, using stocks is one way. Putting, more production is another way. But of course, looking into the stocks is important.
Do you believe that till the end of this year, Ukraine will receive this 1 million ammunition?
We have to ensure that they will receive the ammunition, and I know that they are in lack of it. So everyone has to hurry up now.
Thank you so much.
I won't point one colleague out as a threat. I think the biggest threat against European security is, of course, Russia and the attack on Ukraine and the Russian behavior in general. I mean, what we see with cyber attacks and disinformation and Russian willingness to destabilize in many parts of the world, also in Europe, that's the biggest threat. If you ask me, the war in Ukraine is not only a question about Ukraine. They are paying the highest price, but it is an attack on all what we believe in Europe. So we need to help Ukraine, and to be very direct, we need to step up. The situation on the battlefield is getting very serious, and they are in lack of different kind of weapons and equipment, but especially on ammunition. Europe has to deliver more. So we need to look in all countries, do we have more to deliver? And we need to ensure that we will lift the European production as quickly as possible. Thank you.